All right, we're gonna get started with our next media availability. We are joined by our honorary official, Charlotte Flair, WWE superstar, who has definitely built a Hall of Fame caliber career in the ring. Current SmackDown Women's Champion. Charlotte, to compare it to your world, this is our WrestleMania. What is it like to be here for this big event?
It's working now. It very much feels the same, like walking around. It's very family oriented, grandparents to young kids, having your favorite driver, the big event. Yeah, feels kind of the same.
Awesome. Well, we're going to open up to questions for you.
Okay, great.
We're going to start up front here with Kelly, then go to Dustin and Alan.
Feels weird sitting. Sorry, guys.
Kelly Crandall, Racer.com. Charlotte, I have to put you on the spot. When you joined us a couple years ago in Charlotte to drive the pace car, you were caught on camera in the pace car saying, maybe my next WrestleMania entrance will have a race car. I am still waiting.
I'm still waiting, too. I mean, it's going to be hard to top a helicopter, but maybe a race car this year or a fancy car of some sort. I feel like I'm going 200 miles per hour at all time anyways, so it'll be fitting.
So speaking of this year, I wanted to ask, WrestleMania every year, of course, is special, but WrestleMania Hollywood, did you ever get to experience that with Dad, or will this be your first time, in general, experience WrestleMania in Hollywood and obviously doing it as a performer?
To be honest, I hardly remember the WrestleManias when I was a kid, just because I was going as a fan. But no, I have yet to perform in this stadium, so it'll be my first LA Mania. Now, I've performed in LA many of times, but not in this stadium, so I'm excited. Yeah.
Dustin Albino, JC Charlotte, right here. Obviously, you grew up in Charlotte. How familiar were you with racing at a young age?
Familiar with tailgating. No, but the drivers, I feel like many of them lived in Charlotte, so familiar with everyone, kind of, and racing was like right next door.
And then kind of off Kelly's question, but you're facing Rhea Ripley at WrestleMania this year. How do you feel about that?
I think I'm her nightmare, right? She calls herself the nightmare, but I think I'm her biggest nightmare. No, our first WrestleMania was during the COVID era, so she didn't get to perform in front of an audience. So I know having this moment come back around against me is going to be special. With like 90,000 people versus no one. Thank you.
Where's the belt? We'll go to Dan, and then we'll go over to Alan.
Oh,
I left it in the car. I know, it's the only accessory I need, right?
Charlotte, hi. How has the company changed without Vince McMahon in charge, and how do you see it going forward, possible with new owners?
Where are we speaking? So I can look at you. Oh, hi. Obviously, I miss Vince, but the thing is, my job as a performer is to make my boss happy. So I don't feel that much of a change. I've been under Triple H's instructions before at NXT, and now he's just the boss of her on SmackDown. And it's just my job to make both of them happy. So I don't feel a change.
Do the performers talk much about the future, a possible sale, and what might happen down the road?
Not really, because that's out of our control. I feel like our focus is the ring, not the business aspect. Yes, we worry about our own personal brands, but not, what's happening with WWE as a whole.
I'm going to go up front to Alan, and then we'll go to Brian.
Alan Cavana, this sport is filled with good guys and bad guys, and the black hand, if you will, or whatever you want to call it. Do you like being the bad guy, the good guy? Or what's more fun?
I feel like I'm not a bad guy. I'm not a good guy. I'm the guy. If that makes sense. No, I prefer to be a bad guy. But right now, I was away for 8 months, the longest I'd ever been away in my entire career. And when I came back in December and seeing the reception from the fans, and I've spent like almost 10 years getting people to boo me and not being able to enjoy the kids. And when I came back and being able to play the good guy and just seeing the little boys and girls run up to the rail to touch me and to smile and to jump up and down, like, it doesn't get any better than that. So I think for right now, I want to be a good guy because it just feels right to be that person for them.
Thank you.
Going to go to Brian over here on the right.
Hi, Brian Mapes from Xfinity Racing. We've seen Rhea and Dom show up at inopportune places like Ray's house on Christmas. Ray and Dom had an incident at the LA Clash for NASCAR. Should we be worried Rhea's going to come attack you on pit road?
I haven't thought of that. It would be in her best interest not to. So no. I'm always ready.
Come up here to the front to Alan. There's a microphone coming from your right. Alan.
Yes, hi, this is Alan Alfred from the Alan and Aaron Sports Talk Radio Show. So could you just kind of describe the moment with watching your dad that said, you know what, I want to be a wrestler too?
So it was April 2012. We were at the Four Horsemen Hall of Fame induction. That's why we were there. He was no longer active, but we were at dinner with Johnny Laurinaitis, who was a producer at the time, my little brother, and like a couple of other people. And my dad and Johnny were talking about what my little brother needed to do to get into the business. And Johnny kind of looked at me and was like, "Why aren't you doing this?" And I was like, "Huh?" Like, I never thought about it. I played sports my whole life, and seeing the divas back then, like, it was really hard for me to put myself, like I don't see myself in Trish Stratus or Lita or Kelly Kelly or Michelle McCool. Like, I just didn't view myself in that light. Like, I knew I was athletic, but I didn't grow up going, this is what I want to do. Like, I liked watching my dad, but it's because I liked taking my friends, like, oh, my dad's a wrestler, not because I watched the product. But I think Johnny asked me that to kind of make my brother like, well, why is Johnny not asking me? Like, I'm the one that wants to be in the business. Like, I'm going to be the next Ric Flair. So after dinner that night, my little brother was like, well, why don't you do it? We can do it together. And I was like, I'm not doing much with my life. I graduated. I was kind of lost at the time. And my brother was suffering from a really bad drug addiction. So I thought maybe if I started doing it with him, that I could get him on the right path. So I moved to Tampa July 2012 with not having any idea about professional wrestling. Like, yeah, my dad's Ric Flair, but he's just dad to me. Like, he's not woo or whatever. He's just not, I don't see him in that way. I put him in timeout all the time. So when I started in 2012, I just kind of went with it and didn't really know what I was doing that first, couple months. And when I started, my brother passed away when I first started. And when he died, it just set me into a different train of thought. And I was like, I spent so many years trying to save my brother's life when ultimately he saved mine and put me on this path that I could have never imagined in my wildest dreams. And now I'm the most decorated woman in the history of sports entertainment. So it's because of my little brother. So that there wasn't like my dad never really saw me as a wrestler. Like, he didn't talk about the business with me because you don't talk about the business with your daughter. Women hadn't really been we'd been like secondary storylines and eye candy for the last 20 years. So why would he be like, oh, I want my daughter to be a part of that? So when he didn't start talking to me about the business until he came to see my first match like a year and a half in. That's how long we went without even, like, it's just hard for a man. Now it's just like, Dad, I know more than you, okay? Let me tell you what to do.
We're going to come to your right to Dave.
Dave Moody, Motor Racing Network. Your gimmick, at least to those of us outside the industry, seems like it's kind of you at a little higher volume. Is that the case? And also, it seems like your dad is more lives the gimmick 24/7, 365 than anybody else maybe in the sport. Is that true, or is he different away from the game?
No, that's my dad. But I don't think people really get to see just what a great father he is. Like, he's done a lot of things that are questionable to some people, but obviously being the very best in what he is to the industry, like, he had to sacrifice so many years on the road. And now that I'm on the road, I understand the toll it takes on a family life. And but the one thing, like, he was a dad, like a good dad. Like, when he was home, he would bring me lunch to school, wouldn't miss a volleyball game, a gymnastics tournament, a basketball game. Like, I did it all. Like, he was a part of everything he could be, and he did the best that he could. But living the gimmick. Like, he's just he's Ric Flair. Like, I don't know. I love the fact that he's unapologetic. Like, he is what he is. Like, he doesn't try to change for anybody, or he's just that charismatic. Like, he loves entertaining people, whether it's at dinner or at the mall or driving down the road. Like, that's him. He definitely lives every day to the fullest, and I'm jealous of that. Like, it's awesome to see.
Thank you so much for joining us. We are so happy you're here, part of our festivities, and we hope you have a great day at the Daytona 500.
Thanks, guys.